Good afternoon, I'm Jeff. I'm a sewer tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 1991 Southeast Brookwood Avenue here in Hillsboro. We're located at the right side of the home, basically right smack dab in the middle of the right side of the house. 4-inch ABS cleanout will be the point of access. I'm going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Currently have water running. I'm going to zero out right here at the base of the cleanout and refer to this spot as the point of access. Here we go. And it transitions here 2 feet to 4-inch cast iron. And at the very end, we'll drain out the line completely so we have a thorough look at anything under the flow line. Sometimes water can conceal some problems. Let's hope for cast iron pipe all the way out. Cast iron is an original product to the house when it was first built, but it holds up extremely well over time. In many circumstances, it holds up better than modern plastic pipe. And right now, I'll do locates, but it does appear the line is going out down the back hillside. And the reason I think that is the camera is just cruising through the line very, very effortlessly. And the water's moving through there like a rocket, and that's because of the steep hillside in the back. Here is, I'm unable to get past this point. It's getting extremely hard to push the camera. And now it's moving. It's possible, I'm not sure what we've got going on here. This last, I don't know, 30, 40 or so feet of pipe has a ton of standing water in it. That section there that we just went through, where you could actually see something, that was 4 inches of standing water. No, there's a ton of it in here, but it's possible that we passed through the main or the easement connection already. It's really hard to say. We'll drain it out here in just a few minutes and take a second look on the way back, see what we can see. And lines like this they're kind of tricky to know whether and this is the extent of my camera here, so. We're all the way out of camera. I'm going to get the water turned off, let it drain out. I'll try and locate and see where we're at here. I don't know if I had the camera unpaused, but we're here at 150 feet out. This is the stopping point. I'm unable to get past here. I'm going to shut the water off, let it drain out. I'll also locate and see where the camera's at. I'm just about to go locate the camera head. Do have the water turned off, and it looks like actually the line travels down this little gravel road here, straight out from the clean out. That's what it looks like it's going. I'm gonna go ahead and locate the camera head. I'll do a just a big white dot marking right here where the camera head is at, and I'll just put a depth there, just as a reference point for how far I got. Okay, I went ahead and located the camera head here, and the line does in fact go down the private drive to the house. And right here, so the line is actually exposed. A lot of it is exposed as it crosses over the water, or the creek over here. So it's exposed once just before the creek and just after it, as it spans it just like a bridge. Once you get across the creek, the line dives back into the ground, and it's right here where the line dives into the ground again, where we're stopped at. And so I just put a white dot there. It's obviously exposed, so not putting a depth. It looks like someone may have turned on some water a little bit anyway. There is a secondary clean out over there. They may have to move over to that to finish the scope. There's probably, unless it hits an easement or something like that, there's still like 85 to 90 feet of sewer line to scope still. We do have some standing water here. This is a very tricky line, I would imagine, to get proper slope and grade because it's so dang long. It's huge. It's about 200 plus feet. And the main laterals out in the street are not designed for lines this long. They're put at a depth to accommodate houses on a standard street that only have about a 50 to 60 foot run, not 200 feet. And what happens is, because the line is at a set depth, you can only put so hard of an angle to the line before you either undershoot or overshoot the main lateral. Anyway, I'm going to reel all the way back out, and we'll have to move to the other clean out. And lines that are this long, I mean, short of literally redoing the entire sewer line, you kind of have two options. Well, you have a few options in situations like this. When it's this long, you literally would have to redo the entire sewer line, and even then, there's a really good chance you'll never achieve proper slope and grade to where it drains out completely everywhere throughout this line. So that is kind of wishful thinking to try that one. The other two options that are more realistic would be one, to do a sewage ejector system, which is a forced system that it pumps the sewage and water and everything all the way out to the main lateral, or to a point where gravity can then take over. And that would almost be ideal to put further out, right where the belly starts, because it requires you to have water and debris in the line to work properly. It creates back pressure. But apart from that one section out there with the standing water, the rest of this line drains out really nicely, and it's in good shape. So, again, you're better off in a situation like this to just watch what goes down the line. Avoid paper towels, grease, fatty stuff. Don't blend up a bunch of hamburger patties. Any sort of wipe, whether they are cleaning wipes, even if they're called flushable, do not put that stuff down the sewer line. Cast iron pipe is very rough. It's not smooth like plastic, so it snags things like that very easily. And stuff like toilet paper will get snagged and hung up in cast iron, but it makes its way out because it's very fragile and weakens and tears apart real easily. So you want stuff like that going down the sewer line in this situation. And when it's this dang long, you have to keep an eye on what goes down the sewer line. That toilet inside there is designed for a house that only has a 40-foot, 50-foot run to the street, not 200 plus feet. So by the time everything makes it out to the main lateral, it's moving really slow. So you need to only be putting toilet paper and just your regular food debris, like You know, you can disposal things like lettuce and whatnot. Just don't put a bunch of fatty stuff down the sink. So, yeah, or pour your bacon grease and junk like that down. Anyway, we're going to move over to the other clean out and try and finish scoping from that point out to the main lateral in the street. Alright, we've got the water turned on. It'll take a minute for it to make it all the way out here. Anyway, onward here. And we're dealing with some more standing water here, but this stuff's also kind of thick and sludgy. Over time, cast iron lines, because they're so rough, they tend to build up with sludge, and especially when you've got standing water in combination with cast iron pipe and an extremely long line like this, it's common for it to build up like that. So that standing water is actually being made look worse because there is buildup. That buildup displaces some of the water and will make it look worse than it actually is in many circumstances. There's not always a big difference, but it is a difference. And there's little bellies all throughout this pipe. We should be nearing the edge of the property here, getting close to the street. But a line like this, at this long, you're generally better off to do periodic hydrojetting than to do a repair on it, just because it's just so gigantic. And my concern right now is it appears, well actually I think someone turned my water off. I don't have any water flow at all. Okay, here at 141 feet from the second point of access. In total, from the first clean out to this point, we are at 290 feet. It's a very, very, very long sewer line. But anyway, here at 141, we've got a root intrusion. It's obviously not blocking the sewer line, so I mean, I'll refer to it right now as a minor root intrusion. It's not affecting the flow. But roots generally persist in growing larger given time, so I will mark that on the way back out for a spot repair. And here soon we should be reaching the main lateral. At this point, we should be off property out in the road. All right, here at, in total we are at 300 feet out from the foundation of the house, or 150 feet from the second clean out. And this is the extent of my camera here. So I'm going to do locates, find out where this is at, and then I'll reel back and locate where the root intrusion is at. But as far as the line goes, apart from the root intrusion, once again, I do recommend a hydrojet to clean the line out of all the debris. There's multiple bellies throughout the sewer line. There's probably like 10 or so. They're all relatively short. They're like 6 to 8 feet long, most of them, and all drained out. Most of them are around a quarter to a half inch of standing water. Some are a little bit more than that. But the important thing is in between all those bellies where the pipe drains out, there is almost no debris anywhere in the sewer line. It's spotless. The bellies have buildup, but that's because they've had 50 or 60 years of sludge collecting in those spots. So get it cleaned out and just don't put any stupid stuff down the line like paper towels, grease, wipes, flushable wipes, all that kind of stuff. Okay, I located the camera head. The line just parallels this private drive all the way out to the street, and right now we are in between this road and the if you're standing in the street looking back at the face of the home, looking up the driveway, the line is off to the left side of the drive. And again, that's if you're looking from the street at the face of the house, looking up the private drive. Off to the left side of the private drive, and it's right next to 3 trees there that are planted off to the left side of the road, right towards the front of the property next to the street. So we're probably about 10 feet short of the street curb, maybe 15 feet at most. Still, there is some of the line we're not going to be able to make it to, unfortunately. And there's no other clean out for me to access through. So this is as far as we're going to be able to go. And again, from the clean out at the house all the way out to this point, in total we scoped 300 feet exactly of sewer line. I'm going to reel back here real quick, and we'll get the root intrusion marked. There it is there. Okay, located here, marked it with a white X. Again, it's up towards the front of the property, off to the left side of the road. Marked in some bark dust there. Big white X, and it's around 7 to 8 feet deep. Unfortunately, my batteries on my locator were starting to get low, so I put an arrow there, a circular arrow, to indicate that it's around 7 feet deep. But do some, I would highly recommend relocating to double check the depth. But it should be pretty much spot on. It's just important to double check that when you're dealing with a depth like that. I recommend a repair to correct the root intrusion there. And the water has been turned off for a couple minutes now. It's still trickling off. Like that belly there, even with the water still running, was only about a 1/4 inch of standing water. And that's with the water running. There was a 1/4 inch there, so it's probably only about a 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, there's a big stretch of pipe there. Again, it's got some standing water, but as I reel back through there, even with the water still running, it's hovering right around that 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch at most. So when that's all drained out, you can expect that to be half of what we were seeing there with the water running, as a general rule of thumb. Again, with a line this long, what I try and do when I assess these is to see what the cost benefit of doing a repair here. This line has been here for a very long time. It's original, and it's very clean. I know that it kind of looks like this water here is dirty. That's pretty much fine particulate for the most part. There is some sludge and stuff in the standing water. So I do recommend a hydrojet to clean out the line. Rescope to make sure that it was clean thoroughly, and then just watch what goes down the pipe. As long as you avoid stuff that shouldn't go down there, this line's going to function just fine. It would have, in my opinion. I don't think you're going to get a lot of benefit out of doing a repair here. This spot right here, though, there is a lot more standing water and debris than some of the other spots in the line. This one right here, this needs to be jetted and then re-scoped. This spot has far too much debris in it to actually assess how bad the belly is. That debris is going to displace a lot of water, and that's going to look a lot more significant than it probably is. It looks like I'm having a hard time getting people to stop running water inside there. But this stretch of pipe, you can see where the camera is basically black. This right here could actually be a problem that needs to be dealt with. What we're looking at here is far more debris and water than the rest of the line was showing. So once the hydrojet done, this is going to be an important spot to rescope and check. The standing water stops here at 36 feet. And then we'll reel back here to the beginning of it. But this water level is rising way up over the camera head. We're looking at more like 2 or 3 inches at that point, at this point here. Oh, I'm talking to the camera. Oh. You guys want to look at this real quick? Okay. There is a belly in the line. I can kind of... We got this going on the line. Ideally, you want the pipe to have an angle to it.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and reel the camera out. There's a big long stretch of the line here that's actually exposed out of the ground, supported by stilts. And all this pipe here that's lost slope and grade from basically the clean out, out to, probably 40 feet or so, and prior to it for about 15, 20 feet. I recommend someone come through and adjust all these stilts so there's proper slope and grade. It looks like some of them have just sank over time, which is not surprising. They're skinny little posts, and it's not surprising that they would sink given time. So get those all adjusted so that it drains properly, and then get the line hydrojetted to clean all the debris out. This is going to be easy standing water to fix, so you don't have to dig down to it. Just adjust the posts. And then fix the root intrusion out at 141 feet from the second clean out, or basically 290 feet out from the first clean out. I'm going to go ahead and pull the camera all the way back out.